Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am TJ Randolph, and welcome to Mosaic with TJ Randolph. Hey, today I'm going to be talking about a video that came across my feed, and I'm like, what? What? And see, I take particular exception when I see single mothers do certain things that are very questionable at best because I was a single mother and I know what I did to ensure that I could take care of my daughter. So when I see stuff like this, it just kind of upsets me just a tad. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel, like my video. Okay, so let's set the stage from what this is. And I didn't see all of it, so I'm going to get down to the nitty-gritty. This woman has a child that is disabled, and she's going before the court. I think she had a DUI or something like that. So she's going before the court to plead her case, and Judge Boyd is having none of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it.
And let me see what is happening with you.
She's dressed nicely. That's important.
All right, so here's my question. And this was my concern. How are you financially supporting yourself?
I get Social Security for my daughter.
Well, I mean, that's support for her specifically. That's not supposed to be for you using.
It covers like, because we get Section 8 and we get food stamps, and that's how I've been living from her for the past 8 years. Because she is going to be 9.
Okay, I'm sorry. Could everyone please whisper? And I'm sorry, could you speak
Sorry.
up?
And she's going to be 9. So I've been a full-time parent since then.
Okay, let's stop right there. She said that she's been living off food stamps and Social Security for the last 8 years, and Section 8 for the last 8 years. Let's keep going.
Have little jobs here and there, but it's been difficult. And sometimes I can't hold them. I have too many appointments for her.
What appointments do you have for her?
As well.
What appointments do you have for her?
For her, we're supposed to be back on PT, OT. We have physical therapy. I'm supposed to give her a behavioral. I haven't done it because it's just so much. And then plus I've been feeling sick myself when I sent. When we came last time, I had the mask on my neck still. And I'm supposed to see a doctor coming up this February.
When is she going to school?
She does go to school.
All right, so why don't you have a job while she's at school?
Because if she gets sick, and especially during this COVID.
If she gets sick, not when, but if she gets sick. Let's go.
Time, I lost a job because of that. I had a job last year and I lost it because we had to stay home for 14 days. She has a real immune system. She's Down syndrome. So
Well, here's the thing. I understand your issues. I understand the situation. I understand that you want to care for your daughter. But I also understand that your sole source of support financially is not supposed to be your daughter's Social Security. You're going to have to get a job. And if you get a job and you lose a job, then you get the job and you lose the job for your daughter. but you need to start working because you're living off of your daughter's income. That's not right.
And that's not intentional either, Your Honor.
How is it not intentional when you just said that that has been your life for the past 8 years? See, let me tell you something. Again, I was born to and raised by a single mother. At the time, it was called an unwed mother. Now it's single mother, or if y'all want to call baby mama, I don't do that. But when I had my daughter, I knew what I didn't know. I did not envision that I would I knew that I was going to be in the reserve because I had started out in the Army Reserve way before I got pregnant. I was 19 years old. I did not envision that would be a career, but when I had my daughter, I had to make some decisions. Now, granted, I did not have the same challenges because my daughter did not have a developmental disability. But at that point, I was going to do what I needed to do, or whatever that was, to make sure I could take care of my daughter. Come on.
Well, I mean, you're going to have to correct that. You're going to have to get a job. And honestly, when you go in for a job interview, you need to inform them up front that my daughter's special needs, I may have to leave sometime. And normally employers will allow that. If you provide proof, you just can't say, well, I'm leaving because of this. I mean, there are plenty of times people in this court have emergencies with their children. And honestly, there are times in this court where the staff will tell me, my child has a soccer game. Can I leave early? I'm like, yes, you can. Go cheer on your child at the long soccer game. Because how long do those games last? Because I think with children now, they do something silly where you have like 4 games in one day or something.
Like tournaments.
Yes. So you got to get employment. You can't just be living off your daughter's Social Security.
It's not a plan that I wanted. It's very difficult. Like,
okay, regardless if it's a plan that you wanted, it's the plan that's being executed. Let me tell you something. When I was trying to figure this thing out, I got every type of aid I could get. I did not get, I did not have Section 8, nor did I have a check, but I got food stamps, I got WIC, I got financial aid, Pell Grants, okay? Scholarships. But I didn't hold on to it forever. I was on food stamps and WIC for I think 2 years until I got my commission and went on active duty. That was a job. Let's go.
I do it by myself. I don't need to be upset, but I mean, if she gets sick, I'm able to go get her or be there for her.
Here's the thing. If
But
you're
I
at
have lots
work,
of jobs
if
because
you're
of
at
that.
work and your daughter gets sick, you tell your employer, I just got a notice, my daughter's sick, I'm going to have to leave. And when you leave to go get your daughter, if they fire you, then who knows? Maybe you can get a civil attorney, maybe not. Maybe the civil attorney will tell you, yeah, you don't have a case. This is.
Well, chances are, she wouldn't have a case. However, if they fired her, more than likely she would be able to get unemployment while she was looking for another job. And let me tell you something. Even when I was in the military and you said the Army come first, I said, yeah, okay, roger that. However, I knew my daughter came first. So if I had to leave to take care of my daughter, which I had several times, now mind you, I didn't use that as an excuse, but when there were some emergencies that came up, oh yeah, I'm going to go take care of my child. Okay? But again, I had babysitters, family members sometimes, family friends, my village, but I was gainfully employed. Even when I was getting food stamps and WIC, I had not one, but 2 part-time jobs. 2.
Texas, or maybe they will tell you you do have a case. But if you lose your job, you lose your job. You can't depend on your child's check that's supposed to be for her specifically to financially support you. I mean, you tell me you're on Section 8, which means that the rent or whatever you're paying is much less than other people who are not. Then, so you're using your daughter's income for your housing, you're using her income for food, you're using her income for clothes, you're using her income for gas. If you're putting gas in your vehicle, if you have a vehicle, you're using her income for your car note. If you have a car note, you're using her income for your utilities. She is financially supporting you. And what I can tell you is there was a time, I think it was, I'm aging myself again, I want to say it's Jerry Coogan, who was a child actor in, I don't know, like the 40s or whatever time he was. And he ended up broke. And you know why he ended up broke? Because his parents were living off him and he was the sole supporter for his family. Your daughter should not be the sole source of financial support for you. So you're going to have to get a job, and I'm requiring you to get a job. And if you end up getting fired from that job, then you get fired from that job and you're going to search for another one, because your sole source of income should not be your daughter. You understand? How old is your daughter? She's 8 years old. And the fact that you're using her money specifically for you to live off on, guess what? It's like your daughter is going to work to support you.
That was a grow you real moment. The judge says it's like your daughter is going to work to support you. And check this out. Her daughter is going to school. She's going to her doctor's appointments, medical, all that her mom is reaping the benefits off of. Listen, I can't go there with you. Now, I'm not for bashing single mothers that are doing what they need to do. I'm not doing that. That's not who I am. But like I said before, like my best friend, really, I call her my cousin, sister / all that. If a child does not make a woman get her shit together and dig deep, I say, she's a sorry bitch.
I like that, Judge Boyd. I had a job before. I lost a job. I tried to get a job again.
Mm-hmm.
When you do call centers or try to work from home, I'm trying.
The judge is having none of it. She's having none of it.
I have looked for jobs. I have put Indeed. I put everywhere so I can work from home. What makes you think, and sorry, no disrespect, but what makes you think that I want to live off of $800 and something a month when my car note is covering that and my rent? It is exhausting, and trying to be there mentally and physically for my daughter and all her appointments. I have put that on hold, which I'm not supposed to. But with COVID and everything else, and her low immune system has just been a headache for me. I do this alone. I don't ask anybody for help. I don't ask for any.
Maybe you should ask somebody for help. Maybe you should ask somebody for help. Okay? I did. And let me tell you something. That's one of the reasons, thank you, God. When I was an officer on active duty in both the Army and the Navy, as a single mother, when my troops, whether my soldiers or my sailors who were single mothers, tried to come to me with the foolishness, I was having none of it. Why? I was a single mother too. I was a single mother. And they say, well, LT, you're an officer and you have this and you have that. I said, but I wasn't an officer all the time. I did what I needed to do before I became an officer, and becoming an officer was part of my plan to be able to take care of my daughter. Now, I'm not saying her father did not provide support, because he did. He did. It was the same amount her whole life, $500. Now, when I'm saying that was a $500 child support, I'm not saying that he didn't do more for her than that, because again, when she would go visit him, all that kind of stuff, of course he did. But as far as the child support, it was $500 up until she was 18. So that meant the health insurance, then all that was me. Okay? So when women would come to me, I'm like, well, this is what you got to do. Particularly, I wasn't just saying this is what you got to do. I will provide them resources. And if they would come back with the same stuff, I said, well, I provided you resources on this day that you take advantage of it. And I would get excuses. Not having it. Let's go.
Any extra
Is her father
finances?
alive?
No, not alive. He's not around. He said he didn't want a retarded daughter.
All right, so here's the thing, and this is what I try to tell everybody. We choose our partners in life. We decide to have children, and we choose the partner that we're going to have a child with, usually, normally. So you chose him. And guess what? I'm not your civil attorney, but you walk straight over to civil court and you file documents to have him put on child support.
And he has not paid.
Well, then you need to go do an enforcement.
Okay, he is not paid. Like the judge said, do an enforcement. I had to do that a couple of times. Yeah, I had to do that a couple of times. I did. When my daughter's father would get upset with me for whatever reasons, well, I'm not doing this. I'm like, okay. Okay. But again, regardless of our disagreements or whatever, he came around when he would, when he would get over being mad at me for whatever reason. But I still had to maintain a lifestyle for my kid.
And you need to get an attorney to do that. But I want you to hear me clearly. I understand your issues. I do. But it doesn't change the fact that you are living off of your child. You're living off of her income. You need to get a job. That's the way it's, you got to get a job. That's the way it has to be, because you can't.
And to that point, the judge said we choose our partners. And I done told y'all, listen, I was irresponsible. I was not taking my birth control like I should have. I was caught up. Y'all say ain't no power in the P. I submit there's power in the P on both sides. Because I was caught up. And I chose him. So whatever the outcome, which was my fruit, I had to go ahead and deal with that. And because I had to go ahead and deal with that, I made the decision to go full-time into the military. Okay, let's go.
Can't live off your daughter's income. Your daughter, even though she's getting Social Security, it's as though your daughter is working. You are not working, and you're living off of her. You're living off of her, and honestly, you're living off of taxpayers. Because you're in Section 8. How much is your rent?
$138. It's going up.
Okay, so it's $138.
She said it's $138 and it's going up. Everything goes up. And here's the thing. Even when I was on food stamps and WIC, it came down to the fact that I wanted more for myself and I wanted more for my daughter. Now, again, I understand I did not have a special needs child, and I can't understand the uniqueness that goes into that. But what I also know, there are resources available. Okay? I'm not going to say it's the same thing that I had to do with, but I'm sure that it was not. But again, like the judge is saying, if her daughter's at school, why ain't you working somewhere?
How much should it really be, though? I've had people come before me, their rent is $27 when it really should be $1,500. Everybody else in here, and not everybody, because I don't know everybody's situation, but I know everyone who is in the well of the court, they're not paying $138. I would love to pay $138 for my place. I would be living like a queen, traveling every single day, because it's only $138. So here's the thing. You have got to get a job. End of story. You can't live off your child.
Period.
And if there's a call center you can work for, then work for it. If you can work at McDonald's, then work at McDonald's. But I am not going to allow you to live off your daughter. And you're here for a driving while intoxicated case that was reduced to a misdemeanor. So the fact that you had alcohol, guess what? Your daughter paid for you to have alcohol. And I know your daughter's not drinking.
Uh-oh.
So you took part of her Social Security money to pay for alcohol.
I didn't pay to use alcohol.
Did somebody buy you that drink?
Yes, ma'am. It was my birthday time.
Who bought you the drink?
My friend Val.
All right, so you're out drinking, enjoying your life. And was your daughter with you when you were drinking?
Yes, ma'am. It was just a dinner.
So there we are. But you're going to get a job. Everybody in here is required to have employment. You cannot continue to live off your daughter. And you need to stay in touch with probation because I'm not even asking you to pay your fees.
Uh-oh.
And it shows here that you have a net income of $540. That means that something needs to be cut out. I don't know if it's the cable TV. I don't know if you have cable, but you need to get a job. End of story.
It's my car.
All right, you need to get a job. All right. So she's going to be required to get employment.
And when is my probation end?
Check that out. Check that out. She's asking, when does my probation end? We know why she's asking that. Let's go. When does my probation end?
You're going to get employment. And here's the thing. If your probation needs to be extended, it will be, but you're getting employment before you leave this court. Part of completing probation successfully is having employment. Now, if you don't want to be on probation, if you want to, you can find someone who you trust to take care of your daughter and we can send you to the Bexar County Jail and you can do your time at the jail. But you will have employment in this court. Otherwise, a motion to revoke is going to be filed and you could potentially be at the Bexar County Jail for 180 days. It's completely up to you, but I require everyone to have employment. And again, she's not to have employment as a home health care provider or with minors.
Okay, so see what we're talking about here is that as a home health care provider, because she could probably say that that would be her job, taking care of her daughter to get money for that. I don't know the ins and outs of that, but I've heard that that can happen. So you notice she said not a home health care provider or for minors, because again, that would include her daughter. Let's go. Yeah, the judge is like, I'm not stupid. I just look this way.
And I'm going to want an update on her employment. By February, the first, let me see.
May I say something, Your Honor?
Sure.
I just don't want you to think like I'm using my daughter. That's not what it is. I was employed. I haven't been employed since last year and I haven't found a job. I have been looking and
well, if you have not been employed since last year, what month last year? When's the last time you?
February.
February.
Yes, ma'am.
So that means that you were not employed March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. You have not been working for 10 months. So you've been living off your daughter for 10 months and I'm not going to continue to allow it. You're getting.
The judge is not having it. Let me tell you something. Now, y'all know I'm retired, but I want something to do. So I put my resume on Indeed. I cannot keep job offers from coming to me. Now you say, well, TJ, you have a lot more experience than she does. This is true. But because a lot of people are not wanting to work, right? I'm sure she could find something. I see them all the time. I see the jobs all the time, customer service. I see them all the time. I see them all the time with even no experience required. I'm not, the judge is having none of it, and I'm with that.
Getting a job.
And with all respect, yes, ma'am, I understand that. But I don't feel like, hey, I'm using my daughter or.
You are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're living off of your daughter. I don't know what you don't understand about that. Your rent, your daughter is paying your rent. You're not. Your utilities, your daughter is paying your utilities.
I am
The
her
gas, you're not providing for her. The government is providing for her through her
I
SSI.
am her caretaker. I take care of her.
You're not doing a good job because you are living off of her.
How am I not doing a good job?
You're living off your daughter financially. Here's the thing. If SSI were not to give your daughter any money, If you didn't have your daughter, you would not be getting Section 8 housing. You would not be living at the place you're living for $138. And it's probably, how many bedrooms is it?
It's two.
It's 2 bedrooms. How many bathrooms is it?
Two.
All right, it's 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom. I can tell you right now, I know without even looking at your place, that place is more than $138. And the reason why you're getting it for $138 is because of your daughter. So the taxpayers are picking up the tab on what you really should be paying for that. So you can thank your daughter for that. The utilities, if you have to pay utilities, your daughter is paying that, not you. The gas you put in your car, your daughter is paying that, not you. The groceries on your table, you say you get food stamps, the taxpayers are paying that. And anything extra that's not covered for food stamps, your daughter is paying that. So yes, you are living off of your daughter. You're not bringing anything financially to the table. And I'm going to say it for the last time. You are getting employment. You will have employment by February 2nd. If you do not, a motion to revoke will be filed. And you could be looking at 180 days in the Bexar County Jail. Thank you.
That's it. That's all. I'm saying it for the last time. For the last time. So ladies, again, I understand, and I think I understand now more than ever. They would say women bosses are harder than male bosses for females. And I have to agree with that. And it's not because we want to be hard. Now, there's some just want to be hard on the strength of being hard. But I think women are harder bosses because we know the bull crap. Especially when we have faced many of the same or similar circumstances and we were able to do what we needed to do, make the necessary sacrifices, take the necessary losses to provide for our children. There was a time I was still on active duty when me and my daughter's father broke up. Guess what? I moved me and my daughter into a 1-bedroom apartment. 685 square feet. Sure did. Moved us into a 1-bedroom apartment while I needed to do, while I could get focused and get my money right and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. That's what you do. So shout out to Judge Boyd. And again, I have to pat myself on the back. Yeah. And it not just because I think I'm a great mom, because I wasn't a great mom. I was a good mom, I'm not a great mom, because moms make mistakes. But also pat myself on the back for leading by example when I had my troops who would try to come and give me the bull crap. And I'm like, no, we're not going for that. I'm a mom too. I'm a single mom too. So I know what we got to do to get this thing together. So don't bring me no excuses. Especially if you have not exhausted all your resources. All right? So let me know what you think in the comments. Give me your feedback, okay? Give me your feedback. Let me know what you think. And until next time, ciao for now.